One of my favorite things to do is track my own taste. For the past 15 years or so, I've been constantly updating my 3x3, but only for the last decade I've kept a new copy each time I revise it. This has given me a record of how my 9 favorite anime has shifted over time. It's kind of a personal timeline of my taste, showing which shows resonated with me at different points in my life. For clarity, a 3x3 is a grid of your 9 favorite anime, typically with the center being your absolute favorite. It's not meant to be a statement about what you think are the best anime, or a way to posture refined taste. We already know what certain titles are widely regarded as greats. A 3x3 should instead aim to capture something more immediate and personal, what you love right now. It's a snapshot into your taste. Looking at my current 3x3, it spans a wide range of genres and eras, though it probably is best boiled down to a mix of cute girls and manly men. There isn't a single unifying truth behind those choices, nor do I think there needs to be. Trying to force some grand overarching logic into your taste misses the point. Still, you can trace a loose philosophy in how someone engages with media. In my case, that range of genre and era reflects a belief that it's worth trying everything, sampling broadly and finding what stands out within each genre and era. I never liked the idea of pigeonholing yourself into one category. There's too much variety out there for that. Focusing on only one kind of show always felt like going to a buffet and eating nothing but one thing while ignoring everything else on offer. But this is a bit of a tangent. What really interests me is how our tastes change over time and the importance of that shift. Like I mentioned before, I still have my 3x3 from 10 years ago, alongside my current one. And for fun, I also tried to reconstruct what my taste looked like 20 years ago. That was during my real formative period of anime. When I first got into subbed anime around 2002-2003, I had already been watching dubbed anime on TV for a few years. But it wasn't until I started reading online discussion that I began exploring beyond TV broadcasts. A big turning point was learning about the TV version of Cardcaptor Sakura being heavily altered. This pushed me to watch the subbed version, which in turn led me down the rabbit hole of the online anime community. Looking at my 20-year-old 3x3, whatever form I stumbled onto must have skewed pretty heavily towards an otaku taste. It's hard to imagine discovering series like Galaxy Angel, UFO Princess Valkyrie, Kuro Gonso, or Troubled Chocolate otherwise. The result is a 3x3 that looks pretty distinct, but still lines up with what I said earlier about my taste at its core. You can reduce it to some combination of cute girls and manly men. Jumping ahead to my 3x3 from 10 years later, you can see a noticeable shift. Almost nothing carries over from that earlier version, the exception of the Devilman OVA. Though even that would be replaced a few months later, once subtitles from the 1972 series finally became available. This version is filled with the late 2000s or early 2010s shows that stuck with me during a time when I was very much active in online anime communities. Looking back, a lot of my attachment to those shows is tied to the culture surrounding anime discussion at that time. The discussion, the debates, the shared excitement of those experiences shaped how I felt about the anime themselves. It wasn't just what I was watching, but how I was engaging with it, and who I was engaging with, that made those favorites stick. Which brings me to my current 3x3. Compared to the earlier version, it replaces many of those favorites with shows I discovered while digging deeper into anime history. Watching Devilman 1972 in full was a turning point. It pushed me to explore more of the past, especially the 70s and 80s, and that curiosity reshaped my taste in a lasting way. As before, discussion community still played a huge role in that process. I found Katori because someone online made a post along the lines of, "Hey, my friend just subbed this, check it out." Creepy Mommy was something I experienced in a much more communal way, watching it hard subbed in VR chat, where people would drop in and out, some stay for a scene, others for a full episode, and one friend who would regularly join and immediately fall asleep. Given the most recent addition to my 3x3, City, it was something that I watched weekly with a friend. We'd talk about it, and how we were blown away by it each week. None of that context is visible just from looking at my 3x3. A 3x3 can show what I love, but it can't explain the story of how I fell in love. Community has always been an underlying force in shaping my taste, both now and in the past. The conversation, the shared moments, the small specific experiences tied to each show all play a part. That's why keeping track of my 3x3 over time matters so much to me. It's not just a list of favorites, it's a record of those experiences and a way to reflect on how my relationship with anime has changed. A lot of that meaning is personal, something only I can fully appreciate, but it's preserved in those small shifts from one version to the next. I said it before, but I want to reiterate, you shouldn't be doing this just to uncover some grand definitive truth about your taste. That's not the point. You should be doing it because it's fun, because it lets you see how your taste shifts and evolves over time. A 3x3 can also be a great way to reflect on your favorites and start conversations. It's an easy entry point. Oh, you like Milky Holmes? Have you checked out Galaxy Angel? Or someone might look at your 3x3 and think, I should reach out and start a conversation. That could spiral into a longer conversation or even a friendship built around shared taste. What I'm getting at is, your favorites and how they change are tools for connection. Anime at its core is about the importance of human relationships, and it makes sense to use it as a way to connect with other people. Find others with similar tastes, recommend shows to others, or even just use as a rough filter for who you might click with. Whatever you do, the key is to be genuine. Don't curate a 3x3 to impress people. When it changes, make a new copy instead of saving over. Over time, you'll end up with something more meaningful than a list. You'll have a record of your taste, your experiences, and the connections you've made along the way.